Hey, how's it going? Zach D Productions here, and welcome to the channel. And I'm here for another versus video for you guys. So for this versus video, we'll be talking about two albums, and they're both from new metal bands, and these are both the debut albums from each of these bands. And those two bands are Deftones and Linkin Park. So the two albums we'll be talking about for this video are Adrenaline by Deftones versus Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. This is the 20th anniversary edition, as you can see. Now, with this one, I knew that my answer would be pretty easy because one of these albums is actually one of my favorites from one of these bands, while the other one, not so much. But I still think it's a great album for what it is. So because Adrenaline came out first, let's go ahead and talk about this album first. So yeah, I think this is a great album for sure. Maybe not Deftones' best album, but that is, of course, depending on who you ask, of course. I know there's some people that say that this is one of their favorites. For me, it's not one of my personal favorites, but I do like it a lot, though. I think it's a pretty strong album for what it is. It's probably Deftones' most raw-sounding album, and I think it's also their most new metal-sounding album as well. There are some highlights on here like Bored, Minus Blindfold, and Root, which is definitely one of the highlights for me off this album. But yeah, pretty heavy album for sure. Probably one of Deftones' heaviest albums. And yeah, I think it's a strong album for what it is. Again, probably not one of my favorites from Deftones, but for what it is, I think it's pretty good. And Deftones, in my opinion, has never released a bad album either. So there is that. But I do think it's a great album, though. But as for Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, I mean, there's no other way around it. This is easily one of Linkin Park's best albums. You know, I've even had friends that said that this is their favorite Linkin Park album. For me, it's only my second favorite. My favorite would have to be Meteora. But this one is a very close second. Really, you can't go wrong with any of the songs on this album. And yeah, it's all just very strong. Of course, you got Paper Cut, One Step Closer, With You, which I think is underrated. You also got Points of Authority. Crawling, I mean, Crawling is kind of an overplayed song at this point, but you know what? It's still not bad. You know, you can't deny the greatness of it. And of course, in the end, you could say that that song is also overplayed, but I think that song is a little more deserving of being overplayed. I think that's a pretty good song. You also got A Place for My Head, which I think is great. Pushing Me Away, also kind of underrated in my opinion, but yeah, there's a lot of great stuff on this album. You know, Chester, he sounds great on this album. May he rest in peace. But yeah, some of Linkin Park's heaviest work is on this album. So yeah. Now, out of the two albums here, Adrenaline by Deftones or Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, which of the two albums would I say is better? Which is the winner of this video based on my opinion? Well, I think my choice is pretty obvious. I gotta go with Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. Because once again, this is one of my favorites from Linkin Park, and I really can't say the same about Adrenaline from Deftones. That album is personally not one of my favorites, but still a great album for sure. Don't get me wrong, I think both albums are great. And if your opinion is different than mine, that's totally fine with me. Because with this one, there really is no wrong answer. But even though I do think that, for me personally, Hybrid Theory is easily the winner of this video. So, there you have it. So that's my versus video for both these albums. Of course, both legends and new metal. So let me know what you guys think. Which album do you like more? Feel free to let me know. So with that being said, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day and take care.